Well, good morning. This is a great day. Sometimes I don't smile when I'm supposed to, but I'm smiling. I promise. This has been a really exciting time for us, exciting day, and I appreciate you sharing it with us. We want to do a little thing here in a minute, a little program, but I just want you to know how much we appreciate you being here, being a part of this journey. You know, it started for us, this journey did about 7 years ago, 7 years and 4 mayors ago. We took off on a journey to consolidate the sheriff's office to, number one, save money, help the city. But most important to me was to give the people who work here what they deserve. They deserve a quality place to work, a quality place to call home. At the time we took off on our journey, we were occupying a vacant warehouse. We were living in trailers. We were in a vacant hospital. And of course, we were working in a vacant workhouse. And our staff deserved better than that. And we wanted to try to make that happen. And so we worked extremely hard, I think back then, trying to figure out what we needed and wanted. But at the end of the day, we wanted to get to a place like this today. And I promise you, it could not have been better. Maybe the path getting here could have been. But it could not have worked out better. This is a fantastic facility and fantastic operation. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank our Chief of Staff, Carla West, who has managed things called COVID and crisis and contracts, and also has tried to make sure that we have an event today, and we're having another one this afternoon. And when you're managing whether you're going to have to wear a mask and can you have 10 people or 5 people, 6 people, and you have to invite people way out, it's been a challenge for everybody. But I want to thank her and her team for putting on our event this morning and this afternoon. There's been a lot to go into this. So I want to also thank my son. I see him just coming in. Dylan, I appreciate you being here. He's heard a lot about this and probably saw some hairs turn gray over it. So I appreciate him being here. You know, a couple other steps along the way that occurred that aren't necessarily the normal things. It doesn't happen in every situation. But believe it or not, the city council had to, by ordinance, decide where the sheriff's office goes. And to be honest with you, that's never happened before. And so the city actually had to vote where the sheriff can go. And so we were fortunate enough back then to find a supportive council member, and at the time that was his job, I think, of being a council member. But he became not only a friend and a supporter of us coming here into his district, but has helped us in so many ways. I mean, he led the way in renaming the road after our fallen officer just a few months ago, and so I couldn't be happier to live in his district. Trust me, I live here. In this building, and our staff get to call it home. And so I'd like to ask Councilmember Brett Withers to step up and say a few words, if you don't mind.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome officially to District 6. Couldn't be happier to have you here. As Sheriff Hall mentioned, the council had to decide where the sheriff's office goes due to some past drama with the mayor before me, but I really looked at it as an opportunity. And I met with Sheriff Hall and talked about Envision Casey across the street and all the things we're trying to get done there to sort of bring that community into the city as a whole and make it feel like a neighborhood. And really wanted to know from Sheriff Hall, you know, how would you and your staff feel living in this neighborhood and being neighbors with my Casey residents and contributing to that. And I really appreciate Sheriff Hall's enthusiasm for that, really seeing that as an opportunity to just be a part of a neighborhood, literally. Sometimes when you're in an office campus, you're separated out a little bit, but y'all are part of a thriving, growing community. We have a lot of exciting things going on. Really encourage y'all to get to know your neighbors here in Casey. A lot of really good people live here. There are a lot of good opportunities for partnership, tutoring, mentoring, playing basketball with kids, any of those things. Go out to lunch. Just get to know your neighbors. And I think a lot of people hear the news and they're really afraid of public housing. But these are people that live here and they're your neighbors. And I promise you that if you get to know them as well as I have, that you'll find it a very rewarding relationship. So want to welcome you all here. I'm on site on Casey a lot. Really appreciated the work of Bell Construction in particular.
Yeah.
I'm always on site checking out building projects, and I know Bell Construction's worked very, very hard. I'd like to thank the architects who worked on this building too. This is a fantastic view, and we'll be unobstructed. So congratulations for that. But
yeah, so 4 mayors. I want to make sure to mention this started with Mayor Dean, and I could not thank him enough. It was late in his term as mayor. He understood the sheriff's office maybe better than any mayor. He was a public defender, and he'd been around and made a substantial investment in getting us what we needed back then. And it was very late in his term, and I couldn't thank him enough. He's been a friend of mine for a long time and was a friend of the sheriff's office. But also Mayor Cooper. Unlike Mayor Dean, this was his first day in office. He was at an interesting time. He invited us to come see him on his first day in office, and boy, did we. We went up there. We had a good time seeing, the new mayor and so forth. But I told him then, I need your support in getting us over the finish line. I need your help. I couldn't help how we got here, all the turnover and everything. But we were close to making sure we were going to get what we needed, and he committed to doing that, and he did just that. He was due here today. He was summoned to Washington yesterday, text last night, and congratulated the sheriff's office, and really wanted us wanted to be here, and wanted to know that his continued support for what we're doing is important to him, and that meant a lot to me. So I want to thank Mayor Dean and Mayor Cooper both, the council members, and of course, Councilmember Withers. But to be honest with you, we're here. That's how we got the process. But we're here because of some incredible work from people that I don't know anything about construction and architect. I just know we needed something, and we wanted to have a voice at what we needed. And so, Ray Bell Construction. I knew Ray Bell. My dad and Ray Bell were good friends, and I've known him for a long time back in the day. But I didn't really know how much that was going to come into my life later on. And so. I want to thank, I know Keith's not here, but Keith and Eric Powell both, who are early in the project. My friend Glenn Moreland, I want to thank you very much for being there for the project and for us, and blows a horn at me every time he goes by the house, so I appreciate that as well. But I couldn't be more proud to stand up and say Bell Construction did a fantastic job. On site, Bill and Tommy, I've teased people. I think Tommy's more of a deputy than the rest of us. He's been here more than anybody. We actually did give him a badge. Don't tell anybody that. So if he pulls anybody over, that wasn't what you're supposed to do. But they built a fantastic building, and I can just tell you from where I am, it's obvious. But the design of the building, and I can't thank ESA and Earl Swenson Associates enough. And y'all know this, I don't know anything about designing a building. I just felt like we could tell you what we wanted. And if I'm honest, and y'all know this, I didn't trust the system because we had a lot of conflict going on and frustrations that I took out on you, and I apologize for that. There's some people who probably aren't here today by choice, but I want you both to know I apologize for some of my frustrations that I really just wanted to get what we deserved, and you built a fantastic facility, man. So thank you, thank Bell, Dick Dar, and I see Jim, CPS, they know, we don't know anything about building buildings, and thank God they do. I still don't know how to say Jim's last name, but we have grown to be friends over the many years, and to have an intermediary that help us talk through the project was invaluable, and I appreciate Nick too, who's on site. I really appreciate you, and our staff have complimented every one of you for all the work that you've done. So credit to you. Velvet, and I don't know if Mike's here, but we in the government have all these different divisions, and sometimes that causes frustration or difficulty for everybody. But Velvet and Mike have helped us throughout the whole time. And again, you had a lot of changing parts in the government, and so it was really good to have someone who could help represent how the process was supposed to work, and even having to inform new mayors and new staffs how it worked. And so I appreciate General Services for all your help and getting us here as well, and a critical part of it. Another deputy in the sheriff's office is Patty. Shoot. I mean, I tell you what, you know, the furniture and the fixtures and the things that we needed and wanted, you know, we don't know anything about that either, but she was, I mean, if you ever sit in a room with Patty and she's making decisions and she's throwing stuff against the wall, you don't want this, like, I have no idea how we got it done, but it looks fantastic, and our staff who were at the table to help make some decisions. I've always said that people support what they help create. And our agency supports this building because they feel like they helped create it. They know nothing about design or nothing about construction or nothing about furniture. But I do think their voice and kind of what we wanted was important. And so that was my job. And I appreciate all of your help to get us to this point. An amazing building. Councilman Withers said it, but the view is amazing. We want to be a part of Envision Casey. I don't know if Saul Solomon's here, but the MDHA board chair and a good friend of mine, and we said all along, we've been to many of the meetings at Casey because we want to be a part of the neighborhood, and quite frankly, a lot of our staff grew up in this area, in these housing projects, and that's important to me too, that they feel a home, and it's a great opportunity for us. So thank everybody. I mean, I hope you feel it. If not, come and walk through the building and do yourself some favor by seeing it, because I could not be happier for what we have and where we are. So we wanted to do something a little different. We didn't want to cut a ribbon. I don't know why. We're a little different here. So we wanted to do something to kind of capture the moment. And so we started back, gosh, a year and a half or so ago with the idea of putting a time capsule together to capture not today, but kind of what's going on in our life. Put this away in a capsule and kind of mark the moment, but mark the times, put it in the wall in here, and something I want to talk about in just a minute. So we have the time capsule, and we did that with our staff involved. We asked them to nominate or recommend things to place in this time capsule. And many staff did that. We've asked some of our select folks to come up and help us today. And so what we're going to do is we're going to insert a few things in the box, in the capsule. We're going to secure that here in a minute, and then that's going to symbolize kind of the past, if you will. And we're going to move forward in here in just a minute. I want to talk to you about one other part of our building. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to go, I need to scoot this way. I'm going to call them up and let them tell you what they have, and we'll see it go into the box, and then we'll wrap it up here in just a minute. So with that, Lieutenant Chris Hampton.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Distinguished guests. My name is Lieutenant Chris Hampton. I'm here to present this for inclusion in the Sheriff's Office time capsule. I have for you a copy of 3 court orders that were handed down in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The first was from March of last year from the state Supreme Court, and it ordered the immediate suspension of all jury trials and most other in-person court proceedings. The second is from December of last year from the General Sessions judges in Nashville. It continued that suspension at the local level. The third is from February of this year from the state Supreme Court, and it outlined the procedure on how we're going to begin the ramping back up to normal court proceedings. Well, we just had our first jury trial a couple of weeks ago. So we're all guaranteed the right to a speedy and public jury trial by the Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution. The fact that that right was suspended for well over a year is very significant to me. I hope that future generations, when they look upon these documents, they'll ponder that significance and also contemplate the struggles that we have all went through during the pandemic. Thank you.
Great. I feel like I just want to give him this. What do y'all think? Wow. I can only hope that when they open this thing that it never happened again. That's what we're all hoping, but wow, well done. So Darlene McClung, our program manager for our SAFE program, if you would come up.
Good morning, everyone, distinguished guests, and I just want to say that I am so honored today to be here. I'm just overwhelmed that I'm having the opportunity to be able to place this Sheriff Lyon in the capsule. It means so much to me, and I tell you, I could not have done this with a lot of you all in here. You already know how much this means to me, and you all have been an integral part of this SAFE program. So I did write up something, so, because they know I'm long-winded, so I wrote up something so I don't get off track. In 2006, Sheriff Hall had a vision to provide an avenue in which our youth could be educated, informed, and engaged about the use of alcohol and drugs. And in that exposure, we could help them from becoming a statistic later in life and keeping them out of our jails. Due to his innovative abilities, the SAFE program, the Sheriff's Alcohol Awareness for Everyone program, was established. And on that same year, in 2006, we became one of the original business partners of the Metro Nashville Public Schools Academies, which continues to flourish to this day. So people wanted to know why the SAFE line. And so I had to really think about it, and I don't mean to, if I don't mention anybody's name, please charge it to my mind and not to my heart. But there's three people that are very important. Steve Taylor took every one of my SAFE pictures, every one, every event. And from that year, that was 750 events. Also, Bill Hampton. I would not be standing here if it wasn't for Bill Hampton buzzing in my ear saying that I could do this. He just said, calm down. And I'm kind of calm. And then least but not last, Phyllis Williams, who came and became a worker with me, a co-worker. And we worked side by side. And I tell you, this is why the SAFE line means so much to me. So I looked up and I said, the definition of a lion. The SAFE line became one of our best swag giveaway items for our various school and community events. We chose the lion because it represents the agency so well. The lion is a symbol of strength, courage, and leadership. And when that capsule is open in the future, it is without a doubt, it will continue to have the same meaning. It is the people's lion. And I want to thank you, Sheriff Hall,
Thank you.
for everything. I just want to thank you. And thank you all.
Her birthday is on Valentine's Day. There is no doubt why. She's an incredible heart. And by the way, we lost all three of those people this year. So, wow, your fault. What are you doing that for? All right, so our property manager, Wendy Dillon, would you step up, please?
Good morning, everyone. My item is a commissary menu for two facilities that no longer exist with us, the Hill Detention Center, HDC, and the Offender Reentry Center. From what I understand, Hill Detention Center is going to be torn down very soon, and ORC is still standing, and we're doing some new things out there with that. But the commissary menu, lots of things on here, and it'll be interesting that when we open this up in 2058 to see what the cost of some of these things are. And a pair of socks is $2 on here, but in 37 years when that time capsule is open, I wonder what the cost will be. So that's my item to place in.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah, so the inmate population, obviously, that's how they get their items. And I thought Wendy's idea about the cost and what they get and what they need, who knows in 50 years what it'll be. Hopefully some of you guys are here to see what that is. But so how about our movie star, Correctional Officer Graham, if you'll step up, please.
Hello, nervous, so my item is a magazine, AJA magazine, has me on the cover, taken by Mark Prevail. Inside there's an article about DDC, how it opened during the pandemic and how the technology is amazing. And I just felt in a few years, 30 years, however long it's going to be, it'll be nice to look back on and see how DDC was new compared to how it's going to be then.
All right, great, great. We can ask her to sign any magazines if you like. She did us well, representing us all over the country with that. So, Lieutenant Ricky Harrison.
Good morning, everyone. I tried to think of something that's relevant when I started here nearly 20 years ago, what's relevant now, and what will be relevant in the future. And I'm thinking communication. Most of you sit there and think, yeah, we all have phones. Well, the men and women who work in the jail every day do not get to carry a phone. Some posts we work do not get to have a phone. So for the men and women, we use a radio. Biggest thing that helps us all day is being able to use a shoulder mic. We use a shoulder mic to listen to everyone that works around us. We use a shoulder mic to call for help when we need assistance. I don't know what iteration of radios we'll be on 37 years from now. Just from my nearly 20 years, we're on our second and third iteration of radios. So I'm going to place a shoulder mic in here. I'm sure it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's changed a lot since we've been talking, probably, what devices. But, yeah, so I want to introduce Officer Rodney Kelly. He'll step front.
All right, we are undoubtedly the best agency at what we do. And when you have the best, you've got to have the best of the best, which is what our SORT team is. We're the face of the agency, whether it be in the community, whether it be assisting Metro PD, OEM, or any other agency that needs us. We are the answer. We're the ones who get called to go out and assist with whatever situation's needed. So I put together a little photo book with what we do and what we've done the past year as far as COVID, community outreach and everything. Also including a coin in here from where the sheriff created this coin in 2019 for exemplary service, where the team was issued it basically for community outreach, where we participated in the polar plunge and was able to collect and donate $2,000 towards Special Olympics. So basically it's a coin and a photo album to remember the SORT team.
Mr. Kelly's not really being honest. That was his coin for the work he did. The team is amazing, and they did a lot of good work, but very humble of him. And he took the time to put that book together, which was super cool, just to place it into the time capsule. So I want to thank him, and he's exactly right. Our SORT team has been all over this town and doing all sorts of things throughout the weeks and on top of their regular jobs. And so I want to thank all of them, and he's an excellent representative of that group. Super cool thing that we have going on across the river we didn't get to have an opening for. The DDC and our BCC, our mental health center. Unfortunately, we were robbed of that with the COVID and we couldn't hug each other and do what we want to do. And so we had to back our way into those buildings. But couldn't be more proud of what they're doing over there too. I hope one day you get a chance to come and see it. Inside of that world is a behavioral health center or care center that really is my passion. And so we have a contract with Mental Health Co-op, who provides the clinical care inside of the BCC for us. And so one of the leaders of the mental health program here throughout our system is through the co-op is Sarah Vardale, and she thought it was really cool. She wanted to put something in the time capsule as well. So Dr. Vardale.
Thanks for saying I was cool, because that doesn't happen a lot. The object I have to place in is mental health cooperative face mask. And as Sheriff Hall started to talk about and actually underplays, he has a real passion for making sure that the inmates and our residents at the behavioral care center get the mental health services that they need. It really is a revolving door in the world, and we're trying to help slow down the revolutions and maybe get people what they need so they stay out of jail. The past year and a half has been just unprecedented, at least in my lifetime. Hopefully it will be the last time. But as part of that, schools went to remote, restaurants closed, sporting events stopped, but the operations of the jail do not, and the needs of the inmates of the jail do not. And this symbolizes the fact that mental health is essential. And through it all, we continued exactly what we needed to do and did the best we could to take care of all of our folks at the jail. So
Great. Wow. So, thank you very much. So, Officer Deidre Taylor.
Good morning. Good morning. I chose this flag because I believe it's a testament to our mission statement, and it exemplifies accountability, diversity, integrity, and professionalism.
Great. Great. I used to say, if the building matched the people, watch out. Well, the building's matching our people. These are amazing people, what they do. And shoot, man, they deserve everything that's here and something. So I want to thank everybody. Fantastic. Sheldon, you come up here with this young lady with you. Miss Price, you come up here, please.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I had the honor, at the request of the sheriff, to write a letter to the future generation, I guess, of deputies, officers, SORT, property, communications, just the future of the sheriff's department. And what I wrote specifically in this letter is, you know, my hopes and dreams for the future generation of people coming into this agency and this office. But I wanted to make sure I took some time out to specifically highlight a particular individual who not only has influenced so many people in this room, but so many people outside of this county. So I wanted to take the time in this letter to write about, you know, people may know her as Miss Price, but I have the honor and privilege of calling her my granny. So the familial ties, but also it's just more than that. She's been a family member to each and every person here, and I'm sure she's welcomed you in open arms. So the letter that I wrote specifically is highlighting my granny, but also making sure that people understand the importance of this agency and the people who are going forward and carrying on this mantle. So thank you.
Thank you. So the coolest thing about this, so Sheldon's been with us 6 months or so. His granny has been here 52 years. And here's the cool part. This is going to be open in 50 years. We want Sheldon to be here to do it, because if you last as long as she does, you'll be sitting here helping tell the stories. But as Sheldon mentioned, Miss Price is a matriarch of this place, and shoot, fantastic person. And many of us, every one of us came to work here. She was working here, and she hasn't aged a day, and just a fantastic person. So with that, I'd like to ask Councilman Withers to please come forward.
Thank you. Good morning again, everybody. I brought the latest hot off the presses edition of the East Nashville magazine. A lot of neighborhoods have a Facebook group or another app, and in 50 years, who knows what that will be like. But East Nashville has our own print magazine, and it has a lot of features about recording artists, singer-songwriters, designers, small business owners in the community. And so just as a way of welcoming you to the community, you're part of our neighborhood as well, wanted to leave this installment. So someday, 50 years ago from now, people will say, what was it like to lived there, what were people thinking in the neighborhood? And just wanted to present that
That's
to you
great.
and welcome you to the neighborhood again.
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, just so you know, this will all be put in bags with identifying, so 50 years from now, the people won't have to figure out what it is. It should tell them a little more. But anybody who knows me has heard this story. I'm not going to tell you the story anymore. But I read this book when I was 16, and I wanted to figure out why. That's really why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. And so if you ever heard or saw Helter Skelter a long time ago, it scared me to death. And I want to know why. I've never been interested in who did it. I want to know why. And so if we figure out the who, that's not our job. Our job has been to figure out the why. And mental health, addictions, sometimes bad decisions, and we all make them. But if you figure out the why, then maybe you can do something about it. And one of these days, maybe you won't need jails. Maybe you won't need the system that we've had to build to make sure that people are held accountable. And so 50 years, I've written in here why I think it is, but it's the reason that I came to this line of work, and I wanted to leave it for the next 50 years, and hopefully there's not a person wondering why people do what they do anymore. So with that, here's my installment. There we go. Some people are going, good, he won't ever tell that story again, but I may hang on to it. So you may not know this, but the word sheriff, the title sheriff, is one of the oldest in the world. It actually, I didn't say it's the oldest profession in the world, that's already taken. Right? But I will tell you that in the 9th century in England is where the word sheriff and the title came from. And in our country, it was the 1600s. And so it's always been around. It's been has a long history. And for some reason, this agency and the word sheriff has also been interested in our history. When I was elected 20 years ago, we actually did a history book. It took a year's worth of work to put it into this book form. And that was fun and cool and neat, but we've outdone ourselves this time. We wanted to capture the history. We're going to place the items for the future. But we're also going to capture the history, a very colorful history, by the way, of the sheriff's office in this building. And so 3 years ago, as the design was going on about, what rooms are where, whatever, I don't know if we were using the word museum, but we were trying to figure out a way to have a place to keep and kind of forever have a home for our history. And so I had a group of people who met with me every Friday. We've met for 7 years, I think, 700 years it feels like. But everyone had their own passions and tasks, and we have an amazing person who works here who I want you to know when you walk through this thing in just a second. Melinda Mcdowell, you got to wave. Melinda McDowell. She's our R&D person. She's a research person, development research, and we started meeting about museum and ideas, and everyone started pushing it toward Melinda. And to be honest with you, I poked my head in there yesterday for the first time because we've had it blocked off and wanted to open it today. You may not have time to see every piece of that, but I just want you to understand that was done by staff. That's not professionally done by somebody who knew how to build and put a museum together. Deshae, Anthony Cobb, is Anthony in here? Deshae Hearn, Anthony Cobb. Anthony, thank you very much. But we have a home for our capsule, but I wanted to, if you'll just let us kind of wrap this up by allowing you to just spend a second or two walking through this thing called our museum. It'll save you from having to go through the 80,000 square foot building, so that was another thing we were trying to help you with. But you're welcome to do that to do that as well. But mainly we wanted to open it up with a closing of our future and obviously placing it into the museum here in just a second. So with that, if I can get Councilman Withers to come up, we're going to initially start this closure, and then we will see if we can get this off of this part. There we go. And then we set it up here. There we go. All right. And there's some bolts coming, I promise. You won't be able to get that. So they're going to secure that. And if you will, and all of you, I'd like for you to take 2 seconds to swing through the museum as we come through. Councilman, would you join me?